All right, guys, so first things first, I just want to say that what we're about to talk about is super serious. It's not a prank. It hit both of us super hard, and Leslie and I really debated on whether we were going to put this out on YouTube, but obviously we made the decision to go public with it. I'm a YouTuber at the end of the day, and my life is open to the world, and especially to the people that support us. So you guys deserve to know.
We took the time to feel all the emotions and to go through everything and just kind of reflect on everything that happened. And I feel like now we're ready to talk about it.
So a couple weeks ago, Leslie and I got some amazing news. It was around, I want to say like 10 o'clock at night, and I was playing video games. I'm on Discord with my friends. Leslie's getting ready for bed, and she ends up texting me this. She said she wasn't feeling well. She wanted to get a pregnancy test. So I was like, okay, yeah, get the test. You know, you'll feel a lot better when you see the result, because I'm guessing it's going to be negative. So she gets the test, goes to the bathroom. She gave me the box, and I'm sitting here in the living room, and I see that one line means negative, two lines means positive. Leslie comes out the bathroom, and she has a pregnancy test stick thing, and she's holding it against her chest like this. And she's like, okay, we got to wait 5 minutes to see the results. I'm like, okay, here, give it to me. So she gives it to me, and I just look at it, and I'm like, was this blank when you got it? And she's like, yes. And this is what we saw. So it was that moment that we realized that Leslie was pregnant. And it was a good like 2 minutes of just straight shock. Like, we're just standing there. Leslie was crying out of happiness and kind of out of fear too, because that's a very scary thing to happen. Like, your body's changing. It's just out of nowhere, and I'm just trying to keep my head on, like trying to make sure Leslie's good.
Yeah, I feel like you were trying to calm me down because I was just like in shock. Like, I didn't believe it. Like, I was crying. I had so many emotions at the time. Like, I was excited, I was scared, I was like in denial kind of.
Yeah, it was definitely like a denial thing. It's like, is this really happening right now? The first thing that I did was call my mom, and I told my mom, like, hey, just head over to my house. I have to tell you something. She's like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? You know how moms freak out, and I'm like, Mom, I promise you everything's fine. I'm not recording a YouTube video right now. Like, this is not a prank. Just drive safe and come to my house. She's like, okay, should I bring Stephanie? I'm like, yeah, Stephanie's my little sister. So they come over, they sit down, and I tell them the news. Good 10 minutes of them thinking it's a prank, until we finally let them know, like, hey, this is not a prank. This is really happening. My mom starts crying. Stephanie starts crying. They're hugging Leslie, kissing Leslie. My mom goes, you guys have to get married right now. I know of a priest that can come and marry you guys right tonight. I'm like, Mom. Everyone just relax. Like, we need to figure out what's gonna happen next. It was crazy. That whole night was just crazy. And I didn't even think to record anything, because like everything just happened so fast, and it was just such a shock. But I remember feeling Leslie's stomach, and like that was the first like confirmation. Leslie's stomach had this hard like shell, like this ball like here, and like Leslie is a very, very thin, like her waist is very thin. It was very scary, like not knowing how old the child is, not knowing like if it's okay. Like we didn't know this was happening, so we weren't like living just regularly. I mean we weren't living cautiously. Like, if we were planning to have a child, we would like live very cautiously. I would make sure Leslie only eats like vegetables or something. I don't know if we were planning this, I would make sure that my child is the most healthiest it could be. I would not drink. I would not even smoke tobacco-free hookah for like 6 months prior. Like, we're very serious about a baby, but like, I won't say that we didn't want a child. We've always wanted a child. We actually talk about it a lot, like a lot. Yeah. We've even thought of a name for him. I always like have this feeling that I'm gonna have a son, which his name would have been Carter. And then Leslie doesn't mind, like either or. But like, when you hear that Leslie's pregnant, it's like, I don't care what it is. I just want a healthy child. I just want my child. I'm gonna love it. Like, I don't care if it comes out as a fingernail. Like, I'm going to love this child no matter what. Like, it's so different talking about, oh, I want a son, oh, I want a daughter, versus when like your girlfriend or your wife is actually pregnant. You're like, I don't care what it is. I want it. So yeah, we were just super excited. Like, I was gonna tell the rest of my family. Leslie was super excited to tell her parents and her sisters and her family. And
it was starting to like sink in, kind of like, oh my God, I have a baby inside me.
Definitely, yeah. And unfortunately, about like 2 hours later, Leslie ended up bleeding. And even though like that's normal, it was like a lot more than what we thought was normal, and she also felt a very sharp cutting pain in her abdominal area. And so you want to explain how that felt?
So earlier that day, my chest hurt a little bit, but I just thought I was maybe having like anxiety earlier that day. At night, I fell asleep and I started like not feeling myself. So as I was sleeping, I felt a lot of pressure on my chest again. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I know it wasn't anxiety because I was calm, I was sleeping, I was fine, I was happy. I had like a ripping pain in my stomach and I started bleeding, and I said to myself, is this normal? Like, is this just a pregnancy thing? But it continued and it just got worse. It didn't get any better. I just remember Anthony grabbing me, putting me in the car, taking me to the emergency room, and just getting there. And so many thoughts were going through my mind that I didn't care. I know this is bad to say, but I didn't care about myself. I just was hoping that everything was okay with the baby.
We get to the emergency room and we tell them what's happening. Like, oh, my girlfriend, we just found out my girlfriend's pregnant. And they're like, okay, like first they're like calm, and like she's bleeding a lot, and she said she has a really bad pain in her stomach area. And then the nurse is like, okay. And then literally within like 30 seconds, there's like 4 nurses grabbing Leslie, putting her in a wheelchair. They're wheeling her over to the room, and I'm running behind with a nurse telling them all Leslie's information, and like if she has a risk of this or that. I'm like, no, like please just make sure everything's okay. Yes, I worried about the baby, but I was also worrying about Leslie. I didn't want something to happen to Leslie. They laid Leslie down on the bed. So they hook Leslie up to all these machines, and they just tell us that they'll be back, and me and Leslie are sitting there. And if I'm being 100% honest, in my head, I'm like, I guess this is just how a pregnancy goes. Like, I just thought that was normal. I didn't know like something was about to happen.
And at first I still thought it might be normal that I was going through, these cramps or this pain, because I know my body was changing a lot. But then when I saw the doctor's face or the nurses, how worried they were, and they didn't seem calm at all. And I think that's what scared me the most. The only thing that kept me calm was seeing Anthony's face, and he kept calming me down, and he was there by my side holding me, making sure I was okay. He kept telling me, everything's okay.
So 2 ladies ended up coming in, a doctor and a nurse, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do an ultrasound, and we're just gonna make sure everything's okay. And they pull out like this stick with like a camera on it, I guess. And like right off the bat, you can just tell like the doctor and the nurse, they're like obviously flustered. They're not just like, oh, okay, like everything's fine. First of all, there's blood, like a good amount of blood. And second of all, they're not saying anything. They're not like, oh, beautiful, healthy baby. They're just like I can remember it perfectly, the way that they're like looking at the screen and like this, like they're not even looking at us.
They were so quiet. I asked,
it was so quiet.
Like, how many weeks am I? How does everything look? And they just said, give me a second.
Give us a second. Give us just one moment. They're like, okay, give us a second. They leave the room. Then they come back, and now there's two doctors and 2 nurses, and they check again, and for like a good like 3 to 4 minutes, like they're just looking around. They're like, the baby could be hiding, blah blah. I'm like, hiding? Like you're telling me this whole time you haven't even seen a baby in there? So literally about 2 minutes later, they go outside, and one of the doctors comes back in, and she goes, hey, I'm very sorry to tell you this, but it seems like you're having a miscarriage. For those of you who don't know what that is, it just means that the baby is dying. So hearing those words come out of the doctor's mouth, it was like my biggest nightmare becoming a reality, because and in the weirdest way, because when everything was happening, I wasn't even imagining, oh, what if it's a miscarriage? Like that just never even came to mind. Everything else came to mind but that, because it just seemed like, why us? Like it just seemed like, why would, like it was something I didn't even want to think about.
It's like something that you never imagined it'll happen to you. Like, you hear about it, but you don't think it's going to happen to you.
Yeah. You just kind of like say to yourself, like there's some kind of mistake. You don't even get to find out if it's a boy or a girl or, nothing like that. It's just like gone. You go through all these emotions of like, what sport is he going to play? What songs is she going to like? Is it twins? you know? Like,
they told us it wasn't twins.
Yeah, but like when we first found out that you were pregnant, how do we know it's not twins? I don't know what it is. I'm thinking about all the possible things. Like, I don't care. Like, I just wanted to see. We wanted to know everything. And the only thing that we know is that they were guessing that it was around 5 weeks old. Yeah, so they told us they need to do more tests. They ran a lot of blood work on Leslie and like a lot of stuff. They were almost 100% sure it was a miscarriage, but just in case, you know, we went back 2 to 3 days later and they confirmed it with the blood work. So, yeah, devastating moment to say the absolute least. I mean, it's just so brutal the way it happens. It's definitely life-changing, and it's just so real, like what happened to me and Leslie, you know, that week, what happened at home. And it's just so, there's no like blur like you see on YouTube or on TV. There's that, it's like as real as it gets. It's like you're just watching your baby go. It's the most real thing that you've ever experienced, and you can't help but wonder like what could have been. You know, we would have loved to have a child. I mean, I'm gonna show you guys something that I never thought I would put on YouTube, but I mean, I'm gonna show you guys because I love it, and it's kind of like a tribute to whoever he or she was. Leslie and I were using the camera that I got her for our future child. I guess, I don't know, I guess you could say that we kind of had a feeling, or, you know, like I said, we weren't trying, but we weren't stopping it either. Here's some stuff that we had recorded for our future child.
You don't want to scare your son so much.
She always tells me that she doesn't want kids.
I love you so much, and I can't wait to meet you and hold you and kiss you.
Brian, do you know what this is for? This is for when I have a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. This is not for YouTube.
So, Leslie is...
This isn't for YouTube. Like, you don't believe me. This is really for when I have a kid. Guys, this is Uncle Rug right here, guys.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Oh,
this is for baby Carter.
Carter. Wait, bro, is she pregnant?
No.
Okay.
No.
Damn, baby Carter, your dad cusses a lot, and like he's gonna be a good dad, and I'm a good uncle.
You're already the uncle right now, so like, what up? Like, what do you want to say to them?
Yo, Carter, you got an amazing dad.
How old are you right now?
I'm 26 years old.
26.
Wait, I don't know what to say to an unborn child right now. Well,
Hey, Carter, man, I'm sorry, dude. I literally brought the camera here to show. I came to show your uncle, Brian Clint.
Oh, yo, Carter, did you know that your dad was a farter? It's okay because he's coming out smarter. Oh wait, is it sour or is it getting tartar? Oh well.
There's actually no way.
Wait. Say hi to baby Carter.
Hi, Carter. Yeah, starting early.
Memories from my kid.
Anyway, so am I gonna baptize him even though he's a boy? Should I be the godfather?
How many? There's 10 of you.
Now you're recording. See, my arm was hurting because I went for silk. Leslie's having a little bit of a breakdown. This is what your mom looks like right now. Wish me luck, guys. I'm gonna have to continue this conversation for a while. But she's sitting right next to us right now. You know, I see this video like going on the internet when I die. He was such a good man. He was a good boyfriend.
Babe, why do you say dumb stuff?
He won.
Why can't you just record a normal video?
So yeah, as you guys could see, it would have been a blessing. I recorded those videos, like we didn't know Leslie was pregnant at the time. We just recorded them because, I don't know, like I said, I might have had a feeling. But yeah, they're like pointless now. Well, not pointless for the future. But, I mean, Amanda has baby Noah, and like having a kid grow up alongside Noah and have someone to kind of look up to, or like, you know, just that little bit of an older cousin, and it would have been like the start of a new generation. Like you would have seen little Shermans and little Rugrats running around. Me and Leslie are staying positive. All we could think about is that it's a sign from the man above looking down on us. He's always helped us through the hardest times, and you know, this could definitely just be a sign or a part of life, or definitely a part of life. You know, we had some friends and family tell us that we shouldn't upload this video, but what it came down to was actually the fact that we know that a lot of younger people watch our videos, and it's kind of our job as the people that some younger audience watch to set good examples and let you guys know that this stuff is real. This is life, and it's important to not blame the world when something like this happens. It's important to keep a positive mindset, spend a lot of time with your partner when something like that happens, stay around family, keep yourself occupied. Just know that everything happens for a reason. It's a part of life,
and you're not alone. I was so thankful that I had so many people around me, of course Anthony all the time, and you know, his family and my family that I can lean on, because I'm not gonna lie, it was a very dark week. The support that you guys give us,
yeah, it's insane. Leslie knows how uplifting you guys could be. That being said, I love you guys. Leslie loves you guys. And yeah, we're gonna continue the regular program next week. I don't know if I'm going to be talking too much about this in the future. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I probably just won't want to talk about this again, but I mean, I just needed to get this out to you guys. But I love you guys. It's been your boy Sherman,
Leslie,
and we're out. Peace.